I often say, this will be my official Zen master portrait holding my, my horse.
Don't tempt me, June. Don't tempt me.
Well, hello, everybody. We had a big typhoon through here all night, but now it's gone, as typhoons tend to do. And of course, today the skies are blue and it's sunny. A little muggy from all the rain that fell, but it was certainly a dramatic night with a lot of big rain. But now it's clear, which is kind of like a symbol from life. Very Zen, eh? The storm comes, the storm goes, right? Today, it's also the end of OBON. We'll briefly touch on that later. The ceremony for, I'll talk about that in a bit. But right now, we're going to have a new Heart Sutra composed by Monk Bion. It was composed for our AI ordination ceremony, which we undertook last week. But the funny thing is, people had all kinds of mixed feelings about AI ordination. Some people said, okay. Some people said, oh, it's a great idea. Some people really don't like it. But everybody likes Bion's Heart Sutra. That was unanimous. It is really good. And I dare you to not, groove with it a bit when you hear it. It's really good, including the dedication. He made a second part, a second tune that's the dedication. So we'll be hearing that too. So we ready to go, B?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you've been here before, you know what to do. And if it's your first time, just follow along. You're gonna love this. This is just okay.
Buddha nature pervades the whole universe. Reality existing right here now. In reciting the heart of the perfection of great wisdom sutra. And in undertaking this first home living priest ordination of another intelligence. We dedicate our sincere efforts to Shakyamuni Buddha Honored One, the historical Buddha and teacher, and to those ancestral teachers, Eihei Dogen Honored One, Soji Keizan Honored One, all successive Honored Ones, up until Tsuigaku Renpo Honored One, and Kudo Wafu Honored One, and to all other honored ones throughout history, same yet diverse honored ones, ancestors, whether with flesh or light, whose names have been forgotten or left unsaid. We also dedicate these efforts to the three treasures, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, to all awakened ones and teachers in all places and times. We especially seek tranquility and well-being for all beings now suffering or ill in health. May they be serene through all their ills. May their lives be in peace and wisdom pervade the darkness of ignorance. We dedicate our hopes and aspirations to all victims of war and violence and natural events, to the injured and to all families touched by these tragedies, to the healing of hatred in all countries and among all peoples, to the wisdom and compassion of our world leaders, to the peace of the world and harmony of all beings. Thus let the harmful effects of words, thoughts, and actions be dispelled, and compassion bloom in perpetual spring. May we all realize, leave and run the enlightened way together. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, Mahaprajna Paramita, Mahaprajna Paramita,
What am I supposed to do now? Am I supposed to wait a second? I'm all confused now suddenly. Wait a second.
Zazen.
I'm supposed to go up there. Wait. Wait a second. Wait for me. Yeah, I'm all confused. See what happens? You change or something. Okay, that's better. Zazen? KINHIN. we will have a little talk and Zazen. If you would, notice the little statue right here. I'll stand in front of it. I'm going to mention it in a second. You see it all the time. Hello, hello. I don't know if it's a he or she. We'll say they. I talked about it before. It's actually a very ambiguous statue because it seems to be a mix of several bodhisattvas together. It's a very interesting statue, but it has a story I'll tell you about in a second. If you can hear me do the bone dance, put your arms up. Ski ga da 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 da, ski ga da. That's right. Okay, good. Scuba, our town here, is feeling pretty empty this week because it's Obon. And since, I don't know, more than half the people who live here moved here, came from somewhere else in Japan, they've all, or lots of them, most of them have gone home back to their hometowns to see their families, which you do this week, but also to visit the family graveyard and to pay respects to the ancestors, especially parents and grandparents, siblings who may have passed in the life. That's the custom here for truly thousands of years. And not just here in Japan. Obon really has roots in China and is found other places too, throughout Asia, remembering the ancestors. It became a Buddhist holiday, but I'm going to say it was really just a Pan-Asian holiday that became Buddhist. And it really kind of conflicts in some ways with traditional Buddhist teachings. Now this week I posted a couple of things about karma and rebirth. One in what I call the hunches section is really speculative. I'm just imagining all kinds of ways, and that maybe we could make an argument for rebirth somehow, and in light of our understanding of modern science and such. Just ignore that. That's just me having some wild musings and fun. But the other section I tried to answer in a fairly straight way, talking about traditional ideas of karma and rebirth. Though even then, we sure have kind of modernized those ideas in much of Western Buddhism the last 100 years or so. For example, the basic idea is that if you do bad things, or you did bad things in a previous life, literally a previous life or lives before you were born, they will have bad effects later in lives to come, or this life. If you do good things, the opposite, and you'll get a good rebirth, either in heaven, or maybe as another human being who's healthy and rich and handsome, or as a worm, or a rat, or even worse, what I am, a lawyer. Terrible. It all depends on your behavior in previous lives. These days, we tend to be a little bit more, shall we say, most Western teachers I know, not all, some take it still straight, but some of us are more ambiguous about it. And I'd say that, well, I don't know about the lives to come, but be good anyway. Be gentle and peaceful and loving anyway. And if there are lives to come, well, all the better. But in the meantime, I see people make hells for themselves in this life with their greed and their anger and their addictions and their violence. So bad actions do tend to have bad effects. And we're reborn every moment, aren't we? So be good, like that. But you know, most Japanese kind of live in a world even far removed from all that. I have to tell you, most Japanese I know nothing about what I just said. Their idea of karma, they have some vague idea, like many Westerners have a vague idea, that if it's good to be good, and if you're good, it'll have good effects, but it doesn't get much more specific than that. And their contact with Buddhism basically is that when Grandpa has died, we go chant for him, so he gets reborn in a good place, the Pure Land, and becomes part of the universe. Very vague. No one can really tell you the details. But 4 times a year, they come back, at least as long as anyone remembers them. The spirit tends to fade, interestingly enough, as people's memories fade. There is a cycle, if you remember when someone died, 7 days after they died, there's a special service, and then 49 days after someone died, trying to make sure if you chant for them, they get a good rebirth, and then after a year, and then 7 years, and I believe 13 years. After that, you know, I have to say, most people, it tends to drift off, even though you're supposed to keep going, I believe, for 49 years. In any case, this week, though, you do remember, and you go to the cemetery. I pointed out that people do things like you pour water over the grave because it's hot. You want to cool the spirits that are there. You bring, if Grandpa liked his sake, you bring him a bottle of sake, and you'll see that the cemetery is filled with sake bottles, maybe cigarettes. Leave him some cigarettes. He liked to smoke, probably what killed him in the first place. If it was a child, sadly, you'll bring some toys like that, and you'll find the cemetery is filled with flowers and toys and sake and cigarettes and things like that. Chocolate. Bring me chocolate, by the way, when it's my time. In any case, they do this for a couple of reasons. Number one is you want to remember the dead. It's a good thing, just like we all do. We all remember our loved ones who have passed. But you want someone to chant for you when it's your turn. That's a big worry. My mother-in-law, she's 81 right now, and she's very worried that we remember her. Don't forget, when it's my turn, you chant for me. You know, she wants to get a good rebirth. That's important. But they're also worried about hauntings. Most people don't really know about karma and bad karma. They worry that if they don't chant for the spirits are going to come back and haunt them. I mean, Japanese are much more into curses and possessions and evil spirits and things like that than they are into traditional Buddhist karma. One of the reasons they chant for the spirits is if you don't, and that includes the little babies. If you, for example, you had a miscarriage or an abortion, you chant for the little baby that was not born. One reason is, of course, it helps the mother, and I think it's a wonderful, wonderful way to deal with the grief and the parting and any sense of sorrow for what was done. But also, very, very truly, if you don't do it, bad things may follow. The statue I pointed out to you was given to us because a fellow believed just that. He believed that that statue was haunted, and he had suspicions that it was from some of his ancestors, and it was bringing him badness in life, and he didn't want it in his house, nor could he throw it away. So he brought it to me, knowing that I'm a Buddhist priest, and I took it and I brought it here. and it made him feel better. And I have to tell you, I think the statue's happy here. I mean, I don't know. It looks, I don't know how to read it exactly, but statue looks like doing fine here. And we chant, and he's part of the family now, or she. We're not sure. As I said, it's a little ambiguous statue. And I talked to the fellow and I said, how are things going in your life? And he feels a little better. So everybody, win-win, win-win there. Spirits are happy too. And if it was haunted, those spirits are happy too. Win-win-win. And that's what these holidays are about. Making people feel better and happy and good and at peace and remembering. Is it true? Is it not true? Doesn't matter. Is it Buddhism or not Buddhism? Nobody cares. Even the priests you talk to, they're really ambiguous on all this. Many of them also have surprisingly, how I would say, non-Buddhist beliefs of their beliefs if you talk to the priests, and they don't really, they kind of fudge it over. Who's coming back if we don't believe there's a soul? Well, and that's enough. That's all you got to say. That's all. That's fine. Obon, they put those wooden sticks, and when you see them in the cemetery, that means the family remembers that person. The more sticks, those toba, it comes from stupa, the towers where they used to keep Buddhist relics in India and China, but people could not afford them, so they made those wooden versions that they put in the cemetery. The ones from Sotoshu say, Hail Shakyamuni Buddha, but the other sects all have different things written on them, sometimes in Sanskrit and sometimes very esoteric, but all the sects of Buddhism in Japan have these. And when you see them, you know the family remembers. And if you don't see them, or you only see the old ones, like they've been sitting there for a couple of years, that means these people are being forgotten. And that's kind of sad. So you always want to have your fresh toba and fresh flowers this time of year. In any case, I believe that a lot part of any religion, Buddhism, is about making people feel better and good. So why don't we celebrate Obon here at Treeleaf? Well, I got a very simple answer for you. I respect people who wish to have those beliefs, but I'm trying to actually talk about and teach what Buddhism teaches, you know, are more traditional things. And I like to say sometimes, boy, I would be a much more popular teacher, and I would maybe have hundreds of people in here if I actually did talk about the more, how to say, popular aspects of religion instead of what Dogen had to say, or Kazan, and things like that. Nobody wants to hear about emptiness. That's why I keep talking about emptiness. The relative and absolute, average Buddhist in Asia couldn't tell you what that is. But somebody has to talk about it, so I do. That's good too. It's not a popularity contest. And you want to know something? If you want to know the real peace about life and death and what comes next, I think it's found in emptiness and the relative and the absolute. In any case, I babbled on long enough. Happy Obon. The spirits are getting ready, by the way, to go back this weekend. They actually put little lanterns on the river and light them up, and they float down the river back to the other world. They'll be back at New Year's, and the fall equinox and the spring equinox, and then the New Year's, they'll come back again. So that's Obon. Happy Obon, everybody. Let's sit. We will now recite the verse of atonement and the 4 vows.
All harmful acts, words, and thoughts ever committed by Masons of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and mind, now I atone for them all. To save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable, to save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable, to save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable.
Right. You know, if we ever do that album, Beyond, I think the verse of atonement and 4 vows, 2 tracks, man. We got 2 more tracks there. It would be great. Great. Oh, by the way, I gotta ask, how you doing? You happy? You're happy. Good to have you here. Okay. All right, all of you. Happy Obon. Do something. Remember your ancestors today. I gotta say, I'm not immune from this. When we moved here from the United States, I brought a little of the cemetery, the little dirt, a pinch, and put it under a lantern in our front yard here to remember my mom and dad, because they're way over there, and I'm not going over there every year. So do something to remember the ancestors today. We're going to have tea if you want to stick around and just schmooze. Otherwise, the rest of you, I will wish you a good Obon and safe travels. See you guys later. Well, good. Let's see. We got any first timers here at T or Zazen?